Welcome to this Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends here on August 20th. I'm your host, Ben Roof. On today's show, Gretchen Pleshaw has a chat with a wonderful dietitian, Erin Wade, and we've got a fantastic crab cake dish from Tracy Miller. But first, a little bit of local news. Voters should be receiving their ballots for the Park City Council primaries this week, and that should give you a couple of weeks to make your decisions before submitting those ballots. And those ballots must be postmarked by September 5th. Otherwise, they must be dropped off in a drop box on or before September 5th. Now, let's take a quick look at the local weather.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Welcome back. Erin Polinsky-Wade is a wonderful dietitian and nutrition coach, and Gretchen Pleshaw had the opportunity to sit down with her and have a little chat about some great opportunities to help improve our nutrition.
I'm so very excited to speak with Erin Polinsky-Wade about all things nutrition. She is the go-to nutritionist for the media, and I cannot wait to talk to her. I have so many questions. How are you doing, Erin?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
I am doing really well. Thank you for getting up bright and early to join us. I can't wait to talk to you. I am so excited. I know that you know all things nutrition, and I have so many questions. I was wondering, number one, what is the biggest thing that we should know as people on the go? I am one of these people that I get up at 5 in the morning and I go nonstop all day to be able to keep the weight off. What should I be doing?
Absolutely. When we are on the go, and especially like heading into now, it's the back to school season. I have three little kids, so it is like an amazingly hectic time. We want to really think about how can you plan and prepare in advance as much as possible so that you're fueling your body, you're giving yourself good nutrition so you can meet your health goals in the easiest way possible. And I have, kind of two secret tricks that I swear by.
Okay.
One is smoothies. Smoothies are amazing, but we don't all have time for smoothies and to prep and chop fruits and vegetables every morning. So what I recommend, if you take the fruits and vegetables that you want to put in a smoothie, and you can do a variety, make them in advance, put them into freezer safe bags and freeze them. And you can do this like once a month. When you want that smoothie, all you have to do is take that bag, put it in the blender, add a scoop of protein powder, put your liquid in there, and you're ready to go with a really nutritious drink that will fill you up, but doesn't take any time.
Okay, that's brilliant. Number one, I love your setup. You look beautiful and everything around you is stunning. And number two, I love smoothies. So that's a great idea because you're right. Early in the morning, waking up, coming over here to Good Morning Vale, I'm always like, I don't have time to do that. That's brilliant and so easy. That's an easy hack. I like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned too, if you're thinking about weight management, one big thing you want to focus on is what's going to sustain your appetite, right? And so protein is key. And if you're making a smoothie, fruits and vegetables are great and there's fiber in there, but I always recommend throwing in a scoop of protein powder.
Okay.
I particularly love Orgain has the plant-based protein powder because you're getting 21 grams of vegan protein in one scoop. You're getting 4 to 7 grams of prebiotic and fiber.
Okay.
So clean, organic nutrition, but it's really going to sustain your appetite. And help, to fuel you and keep you focused when you have those busy mornings.
That is very important for me. I feel like that's such a good point because you do, you eat and then you feel, a lot of times for me at least, I don't feel like I'm sustained throughout the day. And that's when I start snacking, and that is not the best thing. So what is the name of the protein powder again that you mentioned?
This is Orgain's plant-based protein powder.
Okay.
And it's great because you could throw it into smoothies, but you could also bake with it. A lot of people don't realize that. So I add it into muffins, pancakes, a really great way to maximize nutrition.
Okay, awesome. I know those muffins in front of you. I want to hear about that because that looks really good.
Yeah, so muffins are my absolute go-to, when you're thinking about eating on the run. And normally when you think about a muffin, you might think, oh, added sugar and maybe not going to be as filling. But if you add in the protein powder, if you add in fresh vegetables and fruits, and you can even use, instead of added sugar, you can use pureed banana to make a muffin recipe. These can be made in advance, pop them in the microwave when you want to have them. I keep them in my freezer for up to a month.
Oh,
And they are
wow.
a great way to get more quality nutrition for you or kids too. I mean, my kids love them.
That's awesome. And Erin, you're talking to someone who is not the best cook slash baker, not at all. But I know muffins are not the hardest thing to do. So that's a great alternative, even if you're like I am and not very good in the kitchen.
And if you're not good in the kitchen, which is fine, I can't say I'm a chef either. But one thing I would highly recommend stocking up on, and in my household, these are like a lifesaver during busy times of year,
Yeah.
are ready to go nutrition shakes. My
Oh.
kids cannot get enough of the Orgain Kids Organic Nutrition Shakes.
Okay.
These have 8 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber, and they're an excellent source of calcium and vitamin D. But my favorite part is they're shelf stable. So these can go in your car, your purse, the backpack, and you always have quality nutrition to take with you on the go.
I love that. So for people with, I have 2 fur babies, but I am an auntie to many of my friends' children. So people with kids, that's great. Or if you're a little bit accident prone like I am, that's good for on the go. You can, like you said, throw it in a purse and just go, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, and there's a whole line. Oregon has a whole line. So there's adult, there's children. So there's something for
Awesome.
everyone. They taste amazing, but that shelf stable quality is key when you're busy.
Awesome. And I know, I wish I could talk to you all day about all of this. The food looks amazing. You're amazing. What is the last moment that you have to your right? Or maybe it's to your, I guess on your left, the little lunchbox.
Oh, right here. So I have the muffin. Is this what you're talking about? And the oranges right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So really just trying to think about balance at meals, right? So think about where you're going to get your fiber, your fruits, your vegetables, adding in the protein, and you can mix it up and have variety, but it's that balance that's going to give you sustained energy throughout the day.
That is so awesome. Erin, you're amazing. I can see that why you would be such a good mother. Your kids must love you because you're awesome. And also you seem like you're really on board with keeping them healthy.
Thank you so much. I try.
You do a great job.
Well, thank you so much.
Erin, my last question being this, out of everything that you could tell, I know that you are a well sought out nutritionist. What would you say is the one thing to keep, doing the right thing for your physical, mental health as far as nutrition is concerned?
Just focus on balance and don't try to be perfect. Okay. We all try to do too much. It's never going to happen. Just think about every day, what's one thing you can do to improve your health? And honestly, what I have found that makes the biggest impact for most people is to just take a little time out each night and plan and prepare for the next day in advance, whether it's leaving your clothes out, whether it's making your lunch and snack in advance or your breakfast the next day. But whatever you can do in advance takes the pressure off, it takes the stress off, and you're not trying to make those decisions in the moment.
Thank you, Erin. You're awesome. If you get an email, I have so many more questions. We really appreciate you joining us.
Welcome back to Wasatch Weekends. I personally have a huge soft spot for crab cakes, but it's not something that I really know how to make. So I'm excited for Tracy Miller to show us how.
Hi, I'm Tracy Miller with Colorful Cooking, and today we are going to be cooking up some real goodies. Whether you have people visiting or you're going on a picnic or you just want something really healthy for dinner tonight, I've got you covered right here. We're not wasting any time. We're jumping right on into it. So at first we're going to do the asparagus wraps. Now I've already boiled the asparagus and then I shocked them. So that means you boil them in water until they're done, and these were skinny ones. They took like maybe 3 minutes in boiling water. And then I put them in cold water. That stops the cooking process and keeps the nice vibrant color green. So we're making wraps, super easy. And one of the things when you're making wraps that you want to do is microwave your wraps for like 30 seconds because that's going to make them a little bit easier to roll and a little bit easier to work with. So I've got 3 wraps in here that I microwaved for about 30 seconds. They are flour tortillas, delicious and hearty, and those are going to be the base for our asparagus wraps. we start with mayonnaise, and then we've got to add a little sweetness. So this is kind of funny because this is not always a staple at my house, but we're going to put a little ketchup in there as well. That'll give it the sweet flavor, kind of like a Russian dressing, a play on Russian dressing. And then we're going to use a little bit of these chipotles. And now what we're going to do is we are going to put that all over our wrap. So what I've noticed, and I make wraps a lot for my catering company, and what I notice is that if you do a thin layer of the spread all the way around the tortilla, you're going to be in good shape for rolling it and keeping it all together. I have smoked Gouda cheese because this is going to be a smoky wrap. I'm going to put that at the very bottom because what I've noticed is if I try to cut these wraps with asparagus, the asparagus shoots out all over the place. So you really want the asparagus to be on the chipotle so that it doesn't shoot out all over the place when you cut it. Put some lettuce down there. Look at all that. It's like so pretty with all the colors. So then when you roll it, you're just going to go like this. Pull all of that in. Roll it up. I roll these, put them seam side down in the refrigerator, uncovered, because if you cover these flour tortillas with saran wrap, then they're going to get super mushy. Here's the asparagus wraps. I'm going to make one more. We are going to take a quick break. When we return, we're talking all about Brussels sprouts. We're going to get these in the oven, and I'm going to show you how to make a delicious Brussels sprout salad. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Colorful Cooking. We just made some asparagus wraps, which will be great for guests or just for lunch if you're looking for vegetarian. And now we're going to move on. First off, you need to cut the Brussels sprouts. And all the Brussels sprouts, just like with any veggie you're ever working with, they're all different. So when you're baking them, and my oven is at 400 degrees because we're really going to roast these babies, you want everything to be about the same size. So if you're getting some really little Brussels sprouts, then you're not going to want to cut them as much as the big ones. Like this one's a monster, so I'm going to just cut that a little bit more. So we've got these little cuties. They're so cute. They're just like baby cabbages. And then I'm going to put them on my sheet pan. We're going to keep this super simple because the ingredients are fresh and healthy. So mucking them up with a whole bunch of different ingredients is not what we're going to do. Brussels sprouts by themselves. Oven is at 400 degrees. I'm going to pour olive oil over the Brussels sprouts. Doesn't even have to be that much because it's going to kind of melt when you bake it. And then I have a mixture of salt and pepper. This is how I like to do it when I'm in the kitchen. Just make a nice mixture of salt and pepper because that's what I use for everything. And I'm going to really kind of generously cover these Brussels sprouts. And whenever I'm cooking veggies, I definitely put a lot of salt and pepper on them. Okay. The Brussels sprouts, cut up nicely, olive oil, salt and pepper, oven's at 400 degrees. I'm going to pop them into the oven for about 10 minutes. And this is when a little bit of experience is going to let you know, because if you cook those Brussels sprouts just a little bit too long, they're going to have no crunch and they're going to be mushy. And those are the Brussels sprouts that your parents complain about because your grandma used to overcook them all the time. We are going to cook those Brussels sprouts for about 10 minutes. Check them because every veggie is different. We're going to check them, see their doneness, and then put the pears in for about 5 minutes. We've added the pears about 5 minutes before we were finished cooking the Brussels sprouts. And these Brussels took about 10 minutes, but you can expect about 10 to 12 minutes for most Brussels sprouts if you cut them in half. You don't want to overcook them because that's going to make them mushy and gross, and it's going to make your house smell really bad. So we have the pears that I tossed with a little bit of olive oil and some fresh thyme, and I tossed those right there into the Brussels sprouts. So basically, this is the salad. A half a cup of Brussels sprouts is like 28 calories, and it also contains over 100% of your daily recommended dose of vitamin K. So they're really healthy, and if you're looking to get a little more vitamin K, vitamin C they're high in as well, and lots of other minerals. You know, when you're looking for just like a little sliver of certain minerals, you're going to find a lot of that in Brussels sprouts. So here we have the salad. I did sprinkle a little bit of fresh thyme on the salad, on the pears when I put them in the oven, but now I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit more. When you're working with fresh herbs like this, and now this time you have to like definitely get the stems off. So this is a job for the kids. This is what I always give to my kids, and they're like, really, Mom, do we have to do this? But see, if you just kind of do that, then you get the fresh thyme. You don't have to chop it or anything. It's just nice and the little leaves. So we're gonna put a little more on that, and then we're gonna stir this up a little. Everything's softened up. You can eat this salad warm, or you can eat at room temperature. That's one of the great things about it. And I'm gonna tell you what, people are gonna like this salad. You're gonna be surprised how many people are after your Brussels sprouts when you make this. I like to put a little honey mustard on it. It just brings a sweetness to it and also gives a mustard taste, and mustard and Brussels go really, really nicely together. So I'm just going to stir up my honey mustard, and all this is a combination of sour cream, honey, mustard, and some white wine vinegar, a little salt and pepper, because I put a little salt and pepper on everything. So just lightly put some honey mustard on that, and then there you go. You have your Brussels sprout salad. Super simple, great ingredients. The key to this one is to make sure you cook everything perfectly so that it's not overcooked, and then let it cool down and enjoy it any time of the day. So now we have smoky asparagus wraps, we have a Brussels sprout pear salad, and next we are going to make crab cake. Okay, so you're probably dying to know the biggest secret of making crab cakes, and everybody has their crab cake recipe that they like. Mine, I just like a lot of crab in it, not a lot of filler, but you do need some filler or the crab cakes aren't gonna stick together. So the biggest secret is when you buy your crab, and I buy mine from Costco, I get this big one because it's actually delicious crab, but it kind of gets a little wet, so you have to wring it out a little, like I'm gently squeezing the crab. Like, you don't want to be tough with it. It's very delicate. It's delicious. It's tender. And we're just happy that somebody else got it out of the shell for us. But this is what you do. This is the #1 tip, in my opinion, that I can give you to make good crab cakes. You get all of this moisture out of here. See, as you get to the bottom, there's just so much. And then you're going to get a nice sear on your crab cake, and it's not going to steam up. Okay, easy enough. We have all this beautiful crab. It's nice. It's claw meat. It's delicious. I'm going to add some parsley, a little bit of green in there. We are going to add some red onion. Onion's not my favorite, but it's very good for you. And a lot of people like the onion in here, and it's definitely missed if you don't add it. I add a tiny, tiny bit of Creole seasoning, and it doesn't, whatever the Creole seasoning is you have at home, I just add a little bit of that just to give it some flavor. I do add a little salt and pepper. We'll go back to what I said earlier, salt and pepper everything. 1 egg that has been slightly beaten, that's gonna help bind everything together. I do a little bit of mayonnaise to give it a nice creamy texture, and then some breadcrumbs. Ball them up. Look at that, pat them down a little. Squeeze them in on the side, and then I put them in my pan. When I'm dropping them into my pan, I wiggle it around a little bit so that the olive oil goes under all of the crab. These are crab cakes. They are delicious. We will be talking more when we get back. You're watching Colorful Cooking. All right, look at this appetizer platter right here. This is all we did. This could be a full dinner, actually. You could have the asparagus as an appetizer, and then you could have the Brussels sprout salad and the crab cakes as a dinner if you wanted that way, or a very nice lunch. Now I have a quick little basil aioli. It's just a mixture of mayonnaise, sour cream, basil, and lemon juice, and I like to serve that right on top of my crab cakes. If I'm serving for a crowd, I only do it on a few, but if I'm serving for myself, I do it on every single one. I'm Tracy Miller with Colorful Cooking, Brussels sprout salad, asparagus wraps, and crab cakes today. I hope you enjoy these recipes and eat healthy.
This weather report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
that's all the time we have for this Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends. And don't forget, you can always catch all of our past episodes or any of our other Park City TV programming at parkcity.tv. Until next time, I'm Ben Roof, and this is Wasatch Weekends.